Well, guys, welcome in my channel, and today we are gonna practice speaking. This lesson relies on this that I just answer a conversational question about language learning, and I express my opinions about these topics, what I wanna say, and I'm gonna challenge it. I'm gonna get a quick answer, 1-2 minutes for a question, something like that, sometimes even shorter. It depends on the question, but when I wanna share with something, I can share with. Basically, the goal of this channel is to show real language learning, because I feel like there is no place about this, and sometimes I can share my lessons, what I'm doing right now, and what I actually do. So let's move on to today's day. So the first question is, how useful are subtitles? Personally, I like using subtitles. I feel like it helps a lot when you wanna learn a language, when you need to translate something really quickly, and the quality of subtitles is so useful. I used and I've been using such extension like Language Reactor, what can help you a lot when you wanna translate some words. You can pick up new vocabulary really quickly, maybe within 5 seconds. It is so useful tool when it comes to it, but when it comes to subtitles, we can use it in many ways. For instance, you can just watch and you can easily get what the person is saying right now. Moreover, it's easier to see the language that you wanna learn because it helps you read it. I feel like it could help me. It could help me to start read Cyrillic when I was learning Russian, probably because I used Russian subtitles at the beginning. Even if it was hard, I wasn't discouraged, but it could be different. But here's the thing: should listeners use subtitles in their native language? I feel like some people cannot be adjusted to this, but when it comes to my case, I couldn't act like this because I just prefer to use subtitles in my target language. Even it's tougher, but I was adjusted to this state. If I used native subtitles, I would go crazy. It is not for me, but people should use it at the beginning if they wanna actually want, but to be honest, it isn't beneficial completely. But at the beginning, when you don't know any another language and you wanna learn English, it is the best. But when you know another language, I feel like maybe you can help yourself with your second language that you know, because it is not a problem, and you can use this language to help, and you can develop both languages in the same time. Next question: how someone can train ear? It is by listening, to be honest, because when you are exposed to a language, it's easier to detect the sounds. Maybe when you learned what kind of sounds are, it is mentioned in book Fluent Forever in reviewed edition that you can train your ear like this, that you can know your sounds. So it's useful, but I feel like it's all about listening the same things over and over, and it is the reason how you can improve your listening skill. But to be honest, when you wanna be good at listening, you need to listen to thousands of hours this language to become a master, become greater. It is about dedicating a lot of time, in my personal opinion. Why do native speakers sound fast? Because they don't pause like most language learners. They don't have to think what they can say. They just saying. And it is the reason what they can be so natural and they don't have to wonder about it. Maybe it is the ability that I do appreciate most of people. I do enjoy when you can talk to someone and don't this person doesn't hesitate what he's saying, I guess, because it's a pleasant experience and it is not about perfection, but I feel like the reason behind it is simple. People just are adjusted to this language and then can speak their alive. That's why. How can someone understand fast speech? And it is being able to recognize patterns by our brain. I feel like it happens because someone could listen to for hundreds of hours this language, and when you can understand these words, it's easy to get the point, what's going on there. Moreover, I would assume that it is the matter of practice when you need to communicate with people and you need to understand them. It is the another factor, but being able to understand stems from interacting with people, because people won't tell you something really slow that you need to explain. They just speak, they want to end. Some people can slow a bit slower and faster, and it is the reason, I guess. Why do connected speech and reductions matter? I don't know, but I don't understand the question. Wait. I am trying to understand. Okay, I cannot get the point, but why do connected speech and reduction matter? Still, I don't understand, so move on to the next question, but you can explain me in comments what it means. I didn't get the point. I don't know. Sometimes it happens. What makes spoken English difficult? Okay, English is this kind of language when pronunciation is different from written letters, okay? So we can say wanna and it means want to, and maybe you can speak them, and you can say something else, and you can say wanna, gonna, kinda, this kind of things. Maybe we can write it, but we have many words. I have no good example of these words, but I don't know. Maybe arduously. It can be different, probably, in my opinion, but I could write it down differently. We can find many topics, maybe thought, maybe something like thoroughly. These words can be so different, so I would determine it as something what can be like this. I find it as something worth noticing, because spoken English sometimes it can be hard to understand because people can speak fast and there is a problem to produce this sound that can be completely different, and sometimes I feel like we have no idea how to pronounce certain words because we can pronounce these words like acknowledge or even maybe absorb. For example, we can speak them differently. So this is the reason why it seems to be different, but I feel like sometimes the rules of English can be so confusing for many language learners, and even if when it comes to me, I am not a native speaker English, but I can speak somehow in English, but sometimes I struggle with pronunciation because I have no idea how to pronounce a certain one, even if I know thousands of words. Here's the reason, I guess. How important is pronunciation training? MG. It's hard ones. I am asserted, I'm convinced it's an issue of not hearing enough. It is the issue of not enough speaking. Because sometimes when you don't speak enough, you can mispronounce certain words and you cannot practice this enough. And I feel like when you don't speak with native speakers, I feel like it affects your pronunciation because we subconsciously imitate behaviors, we behave subconsciously others' behaviors. So it comes from it. Next. Should listeners shadow native speakers? It depends on, but it is a good exercise when you wanna improve your pronunciation. It can help you a lot. Personally, I don't like shadowing. I did it and it didn't convince me. To be honest, I had no idea how to do it properly. So I am not for this, but if you agree that this seems to be helpful, why not? But I don't like this kind of method and I wouldn't recommend anyone. Maybe I'm not gonna discourage you, but still it can be different, but it is a way to check it out on yourself. Is my statement, but I don't have good experience with this method. Uh, what is shadowing and why it's effective? And this question is completely opposite what I think about it. Because I don't have good experiences with this, maybe I didn't notice significant differences, even if I did it, because I've always struggled to do like most people can do, to be honest. I did it for a certain period of time. I have no idea how long it took, how long I took it, but I do realize that I could be discouraged by this technique. And personally, I just prefer to listen into something, an audiobook over and over, and I feel like it is the best way to improve your pronunciation. Maybe not the best, but I never trained typically this thing, so I shouldn't speak out about it. But I cannot say you why this method is so effective. So you don't ask me for this. Maybe certain disclosure here. I just answer a lot of conversational questions. This is a long list with 200 questions. So I guess it comes from that, and maybe sometimes I just behave not appropriate as I should, but not gonna apologize for this. But to be honest, it is a normal lesson, and it's natural behavior. So I'm doing what I actually would do. Thank you. Go next. What speaking exercises are the most useful? Oh, it is my favorite one because I can say a lot about it, so I can develop this topic a bit broader. My favorite method of speaking is answering conversational questions because it worked for me the best to improve my not pronunciation but my speaking skills in English, and it helped me activate my speech, and I feel like it has leveled up my skills in English. I started speaking up more fluently. I felt more confident when I was speaking. I do recommend it the best because I answered it for 1-2 months really often, and sometimes there were days that I could it for 1.5 hour each take. But on the other hand, I feel like they are these useful exercises that we can do for practice. Recently, I tried to this question that this practice that I could improve my speaking, and I felt like it worked because I recorded myself speaking up about a certain topic, and then I listened to myself, and I tried to find my errors that I could make, and I tried to detect it, and I felt like, okay, it can be so useful. So I do realize these methods can help you. Moreover, I feel like I did one exercise the most when feedback loop with AI, that I could get a question and I could speak out about the same topic 3 times. 3 times. It takes 30 minutes about that first statement about 5 minutes, second statement about 5 minutes, and third statement 5 minutes. And then, because at the beginning you need to answer the question and you use a prompt to check your mistakes, all mistakes, and then you ask for something else, then you ask for you can upgrade your statement, and the end of this you just check all of this information that AI got you because you got feedback, and you try to implement the next time, and you repeat the same process second after second part, and the third part is last your statement with first and second trial, and in the end you can do it without feedback, last feedback. You can ask for feedback again and you can write it down, but it can be pointless, so it is your choice. Personally, I can get feedback, but it is about reading it. So yeah, probably. But when it comes to speaking, I like structured. I like structured speaking because it's easier to speak out sometimes. I do agree with speaking out about whatever you want, but sometimes you need to create an agenda to speak out about something, because it's so important, because sometimes it's hard to come up with an idea what you should talk about. So it's useful, but a bit structure can help you a lot. So I feel like I'm answering the question and it took a long. Okay, let's discuss the next idea. Is self-talk effective? My favorite one because I like talking to myself. Self-talk helped me a lot. I could reflect on my problems, ideas. I could brainstorm something. Effective, it is not enough word. It is the best exercise that you can do. One of the best exercises that you can do. It helps you to convey your thoughts, and you don't have to wait for anyone to practice. But to be honest, it is the best practice that you can do alone, and you don't have to pay for this. You can just use your brain. You can use your brain to help yourself to speak out about topics that you wanna, and you don't have to pay for this. So, and it is free and is accessible, and you can do whatever you want because you have to use yourself. Whether it's effective or not, it is something like saying whether it makes sense to learn a language. So it is a stupid question, in my opinion, but there is no stupid question, so we shouldn't discuss about it. But I got such quick question, so I just answer it. But to be honest, I would say that it is a bit pointless question because everyone knows answer. The next, how can recording yourself help? From my perspective, I view it as something what can help you to become aware of certain things that you can do, and you can see yourself in real life, that you can see yourself the most of the time when how you speak, how you can convey your thoughts, what kind of methods that you can use, what type of vocabulary, what kind of mistakes you can make. Yes, this one. And the second part, I feel like it can help you to embrace yourself better. Yes, and it's weird, but to be honest, there is a lot of people who aren't adjusted to their voice, and they feel like they cannot listen to their voice, but you need to adjust to it. And here is the reason. But to be honest, you can more embrace yourself, and you can understand yourself better. I feel like sometimes why many people can struggle with language learning, because it helps you to unravel certain parts that you wasn't aware. But sometimes I feel like the truth is hard to many people because they don't wanna know the truth about themselves, but they can hide something in front of themselves, and it's terrifying. But it is my observation. Why do people feel embarrassed speaking in English? It comes from their conviction over thinking, it comes from their mindset. Because to be honest, sometimes I could felt embarrassed speaking in English because I acknowledged that my language is not enough to speak, to record on the YouTube. I had many times like this. Maybe I tried to do something about it, but to be honest, it didn't work. But to be honest, recently I decided to just speak in this language, and I'm not worrying about mistakes because I can make it, and I just embraced it that okay, it is something what you can accept, but it is not being about it's not about being scared to speak this language, because you maybe it is from overthinking. It results in more anxiety, more fear. But who cares? No one cares what you are doing and what you wanna accomplish, maybe your friends or family. So embarrassment is the part of process, and we can treat as something useful. How someone can gain confidence speaking? Okay, it is the simple question that there is a simple answer. Just practice a lot, and it helps a lot. When you speak in front of mirror and you should be exposed to other people, it is all about this. There is nothing complicated. Is making mistakes necessary? Unfortunately, most people would like to avoid this part, but it is the most important part, because the more times you fail, the better you get. So it is my point when we are discussing making mistakes. But on the other hand, people can constantly make mistakes and they don't even realize. But when I observe people, when I am looking for people, I feel like when we discuss with people, sometimes we have no idea that we assume something inappropriately and we cannot verify. But I was talking to one person and I even didn't realize that I asked about a certain country in certain region because I wanted to know where is one country on the map, but it was in South Africa. No, it's South Africa, but it was in South America. But this person answered in Asia, and this I don't know because I never wait. I wanna say about this country in you, but I don't know how to speak in English. Wait, Suriname, maybe. Maybe it's Suriname. Suriname. I don't know. Country? Wait, country. We are checking this. Suriname, probably. Suriname. So this country is Suriname, is South Africa, and most people have no idea where is it. So I do realize it is not the best thing. So it is the thing, and we can continue. Why are mistakes valuable? Okay, this answer is so question. It's valuable because you can learn from this, but when you didn't reach conclusions from your mistakes, it's gonna be wasted. In many times, I feel like it's the part of the process, because making mistakes can help you to act properly, because to be honest, we won't gonna be correct, and sometimes I feel like we think that we wanna act properly, but unfortunately we cannot do the same things, because some people can do some things differently and we are adjusted to this reality. So yeah, next thing, how should learners react to corrections? They should be aware of this, that they should be corrected because they need to get feedback. But on the other hand, improving every side for a while doesn't make sense, because this person cannot speak out, and I feel like we should use here a balanced approach. And sometimes you can correct someone, but you should say that this person can improve you, because you should be aware of your mistakes. But to be honest, some people cannot get all of these mistakes that you can say, and people cannot handle it. And sometimes I feel like some people cannot embrace the criticism they can get, but maybe others People intention is not harm you, but it's about saying you that you should know something. Okay, so the next time, and it is one of my favorite ones. Can perfectionism destroy your progress? Unfortunately, it is the truth, and I could identify with this because, to be honest, I wanted to sound perfectly, but I couldn't handle that. I could make simple mistakes in English, but it is a matter of embracing it, that you can make it, and it is not as simple. But when you absorb a lot of things, you can be better and better and better, and you can minimize your mistakes and you can measure it. But to be honest, sometimes it's hard to measure your progress, but it's easy to see how you speak, what you speak actually. Speaking is the one of the greatest things that you can do, but it depends on where you can look at, what kind of metric you can put in. Eventually, I feel like these people can blame themselves when they don't make enough progress, and it can lead to a spiral of shame and guilt that you are not enough. So these problems are related to self-esteem and deeper issues, but I feel like many fields of life are interrelated to each other. So at the end of this video, I wanna say that thanks for watching for this video, and I feel like I can record these kinds of videos, but it is a part of my today's practice. So thank you for this, and until to the next, guys. Bye.